Okay, so let's just start off. We are going to talk about AAA, the Advanced Audit and Assurance. Before I start discussing about the AAA, which is Advanced Audit and Assurance, let me just give you a bit of an idea that myself, Luqman Rafiq, I've been in teaching profession for more than 13 years now, teaching the different qualifications and the different subjects with my areas of expertise, including the financial reporting, auditing, and the financial management. So our session of today, what we are going to do is that we're going to have just a general discussion about what AAA paper is all about and how the changes to the AAA are going to be having an impact upon your are going to have an impact upon you people in this specific examination attempt. Now, before I go on to AAA, I really love to go through this specific diagram. Why? Because this specific diagram actually helps you people understand a lot of things about the paper. Now, what exactly is this AAA diagram that is going to tell you a lot of things? It's actually a relational diagram for the AAA. It's actually a relational diagram for AAA. Now, what is this relational diagram? This actually tells you the subjects with which AAA has got a connection and the subjects which are going to ultimately have an impact upon you as an entity. Now, see, um, you could see that there is a connection of AAA with the SBR, and there is a connection of the AAA with the audit and assurance. So I bet you could see that AAA has got a connection with the SBR paper, and there is also a connection with the audit and assurance paper. A lot of students, they think that AAA is just an advanced version of audit. But what I tell them is that look, what happens is that AAA is not just the advanced version of the audit. It actually is an advanced version of an SBR also. Because let's just try to understand one thing, which is basically the audit starts where accounting ends. I mean, audit starts where the accounting ends. So the first thing that you need to understand is that in order to be a good auditor, you should know the accounting standards well. I mean, in order to be a good auditor, you should know the accounting standards well. If you don't have a good command, if you don't have a good grip over the accounting standards, you would not be able to do the auditing paper. So a lot of the students who actually do attempt AAA before they have attempted SBR, I always guide them that look, it's always advisable. I always guide them that look, it's always advisable to go for the SBR first and then they'll go for the AAA. Why is that so? The reason being that when you go for the SBR first, I repeat, why is that so? Because what happens is that when you go for the SBR first, you actually get to know the accounting standards well. And when you got to know the accounting standards well, so resultingly, this actually helps you understand the implications that those accounting standards will have on a company's financial statements. And once you understand the implications that those accounting standards, once you understand the implications that those accounting standards will have on the financial statements, so you would be in a better position to audit that company's financials. So it's always good to know the accounting well if you have to actually go on doing the audit, because the auditing without knowing the knowledge of accounting is of no use. So basically, what happens with respect to the AAA paper also, what I do is that when I do teach you people a lot of accounting standards also. I do teach you people a lot of accounting standards also. So my course, my curriculum also includes the accounting standards. You would be studying AAA with me, plus you would be going through the accounting standards. You would actually be getting to know the accounting standards also. That is something that's actually going to happen. Now, if I move a bit forward and if I discuss a bit further about this AAA, so let's just talk about some of the major capabilities that the examiner expects you to know when it comes to this AAA. You could see there are these multiple sections of the AAA paper. What are these multiple sections of the AAA paper? This includes this regulatory environment. the professional ethical considerations, the practice management, planning and conducting audit of historical financials, completion and reporting other assignments. And a very important connection that you could see is the professional skills, the employability and the technology skills. Now, let me just give you a bit of a guidance that what exactly are these and how exactly are these going to be examinable and how exactly are they going to impact you as an organization. So that's something that you need to understand. Now try to understand this thing. Basically what happens is that um, this is a new addition to AAA, which is the professional skills. And this has been addition to all the optional papers except for the ATX. For the ATX, this introduction is going to be done. These skills are going to be introduced in the next session. But for the APM, for the AAA, for the AFM, this is going to be an addition in this attempt where you would have a 20% professional marks. So that means you would have 80% marks coming out of the technical skills that you have, and you would have to have the 20% marks coming out of the professional skills. Now, this is a bit tricky. This is a bit tricky. Why? Because earlier we used to have only 4 professional marks in the paper, but now it's going to be 20 professional marks, similar to what you see in the SBL. Similar to what you see in the SBL. Now, I'm going to come back to these professional skills. But before that, I would like to have a discussion about these specific areas, that what exactly are these specific areas. Okay, now let me just give you a bit of a guidance about each one of these areas, that what exactly are these each one of these areas, so that we could actually start discussing about it. Now, first of all, let's just try to see what this regulatory environment area is. What is this syllabus area, so that we could have an understanding. You see, this regulatory environment area actually tells you that what are the regulations, what are the laws that actually govern the auditing that you are going to perform as an entity. So we are going to be considering the overall laws and regulations, the framework for performing the audit and assurance engagement. Then there are these auditing standards which actually govern the laws and regulations, that how the laws and regulations should be incorporated while performing the audit. Then there is very important area which is about money laundering. What is this money laundering all about? So whenever we talk about the concept of money laundering, the concept of money laundering is that the money laundering is converting your illegal money to a legal money. It's actually changing the source of the money. It's actually changing the source where you actually got the money from. This is illegal across the globe. There are some countries where it is allowed, it was allowed, but generally it's not allowed. So generally, if money laundering is not allowed, so what you need to learn as an organization is that, as an auditor, is that in a given scenario, how would you actually handle the situation of money laundering? How would you detect the scenario of money laundering? And how would you report that to the relevant authorities and to the relevant senior personnel within your organizations that look, this money laundering situation is taking place within this specific organization. So that is something that you got to learn. Then we talk about the second aspect, which is the professional and the ethical consideration. So you have already studied the code of ethics at the AA level. And again, you keep on continuing the studies of this code of ethics across the whole ACCA. What is this code of ethics is all about? It actually tells you what's the difference between right and wrong. It tells you what an auditor should do under the given situation. It tells you what an auditor should do under the given circumstances. That's what the code of ethics actually tells you. So what are we going to be discussing in here? We're going to be looking at the implications of the code of ethics on a given scenario, plus how this could actually have an impact on the professional liability. What's a professional liability? The professional liability of the firm, the liability of the audit firm in a given situation. So how it could have an impact on the professional liability of the firm. Then what else is going to be there? The auditor's responsibility relating to the fraud and error, which is about 250, ISA 250. So that is also something that we are going to be looking at. Then you have got the quality management. I repeat, then you have got the quality management. What exactly is this quality management all about? So if I talk about the quality management, the quality management is actually auditing in a manner. I repeat, quality management is auditing in a manner such that you are able to comply with the requirements of ISA. I repeat, auditing in such a manner that you are able to comply with the requirement of ISAs. And as an auditor, you should actually try to make sure. I repeat, as an auditor, you should actually try to make sure that I repeat, as an auditor, you should actually try to make sure that you are maintaining the quality of the audit. I repeat, that you are maintaining the quality of the audit. That is something that you should try to make sure. So basically what we are going to be doing is that we're going to be discussing that how the auditor ensures that the quality of the audit is maintained. The next aspect that we are going to be talking about is the is actually the advertising, tendering, and the professional appointments. Like when you bid for an audit, that means you're tendering for an audit. I repeat, when you bid for an audit, that means you are tendering for an audit. So what are the factors that you're going to consider when you would be bidding for an audit? What are the factors that you got to keep in mind when you would be bidding for an audit? So that is also something that we're going to be talking about. So if you look at this section A, section B, section C, it talks about the quality standards. It talks about ethics. It talks about the professional aspects. It talks about the quality management. And now from the exam perspective, I believe that all these three areas would have a weightage of 20 marks. All these three areas would have a weightage of 20 marks, plus obviously 5 professional marks are going to be attached to this specific area. Then if I move a bit forward and if I take you through the next aspect, so there is this planning and conducting the audit of historical financial information. Now, what is this planning and conducting the audit of historical financial information? So this would mean the application of all the ISAs, the application of all the ISAs, plus the application of all the IFRS in a given situation. It's not just going to be the application of ISAs, it's going to be the application of all the accounting standards in a given situation. That is also something that's going to happen. So we are going to be going through this, that how the different ISAs actually have an impact upon an entity, how the different ISAs are to be applied in a given situation, what audit procedures to undertake, what audit risks to identify, what business risks to identify. All of this is going to be covered up in this specific aspect. Then there is this completion, review, and reporting stage. So we're going to be talking about some ISAs, which include ISA 570, 560, 580. Then there is this ISA 700 series, which is about the audit reporting. So we're going to be discussing in detail when to give a key audit matter, when to give an emphasis of matter paragraph, when to give uh, other matter paragraph, when do you give a modified opinion, when do you give an adverse opinion, when do you give a disclaimer of opinion, when do you give a material uncertainty section to the going concern in the report, things like that. So these are the different type of topics that we shall actually be covering. If I move a bit forward, you could see that there's this other assignments that is also there. So generally with respect to the other assignments, let me guide you that when we talk about the IAA SB pronouncements, the International Auditing Assurance Standard Boards. So there are different type of pronouncements. One of them is ISA, the International Standards on Auditing. Then you have got ISRE, which is International Standards on Review Engagement. Then you've got ISAE, which is International Standards on Assurance Engagement. And lastly, you've got ISRS, which is International Standards on Related Services. A bit ISRS, which is the International Standards on Related Services. So that is also something that we actually look at. So all of these three, the review engagements, the assurance engagements, the related services engagements, they're all gonna be covered up in the other assignments. They're all gonna be covered up in the other assignments. Now, what's the next thing that's actually gonna happen? The next aspect is basically about the current issues and developments. So there's this professional and ethical development and current discuss. So in case if there are developments in the auditing, in case if there are new changes to the auditing standards, upcoming changes to how the audits are conducted, etc., etc. So those all current issues, those all developments are gonna be examined in here. Those all current issues, those all developments are actually gonna be examined in here. Lastly, there is this professional skills. There are these 4 professional skills, which is communication, analysis and evaluation, professional skepticism and judgment, and commercial acumen. Now see, these 4 professional skills, you've got 20 marks for the professional skills. You've got 20 marks for the professional skills. And generally what happens is that the paper is examined like this. You've got section A, which is of 50 mark, and it would comprise of all 4 professional skill to be tested. Then section B is 25 marks each, and each question the examiner is going to test you 2 professional skills, and he's going to tell you in advance the professional skills that he would be looking at. He's going to tell you in advance the professional skills that he's going to be looking at. So like if I could just give you or take you through this. Now see, it says section A will comprise a case with 50 questions, 50 mark question. Candidates will provide detailed information which will be vary between examination but is likely to be extract from so and so, so and so. So there are going to be 40 technical marks and 10 professional skill marks. All professional skills will be examined in section A. For the section B, there are 2 compulsory 25 mark questions. Each question comprises of 20 technical marks and 5 professional marks. Section B questions will examine a combination of professional skills appropriate to questions. Each question will examine a minimum of 2 professional skills from analysis and evaluation, professional skepticism, judgment, and commercial acumen. Now, try to see something that what exactly is the examiner expects from us when he talks about all these professional marks. So let's just try to see what is the examiner expecting us to do, and what are the things that we are going to be expected to demonstrate. The first one of them is the communication skills. We have been seeing the questions where the examiner has asked for report, has asked for briefing notes. We have been submitting reports, we have been submitting briefing notes. Those reports, those briefing notes have actually been structured in a manner like you've got a two paragraph, you've got from paragraph, you've got a paragraph where you give an introduction, then you have got a starter paragraph, then there is this conclusion paragraph. So there are things that you have been doing. So you have been doing the communication, plus it's all going to be the way you present the information, the way you define the information, the way you explain the information, the way you make the complex situation present in a simple manner. All of this is going to be the demonstration of the communication skills. Next is analysis and evaluation. It says investigate relevant information from a range of sources. You would be given a lot of detail, but everything may not be relevant. There could be few terms which are relevant. A lot of things could be irrelevant. So you would be considering on only relevant item, using appropriate analytical techniques to establish reasons and causes of issues. Connections between different sources of information and to determine significant risk and appropriate responses. Consider information evidence finding carefully, reflecting on implication and how the impact on the engagement or outcome. Assess and apply appropriate judgment when considering ethical professional issues. Appraise information objectively in order to effectively prioritize audit issues. So when we talk about analysis and evaluation, it's basically dealing with a situation in such a manner that you prioritize the matter, you evaluate what is relevant information to consider, what is a matter of urgency, what is a matter of priority, what factors to consider, etc., etc. Now, how exactly are we going to develop these skills? Nothing, just practice writing it, just apply it in the given scenario. So when we are going to be doing it, I'll just keep on applying it in the given scenarios. Then there is this professional skepticism. What is this professional skepticism? It is basically okay. Sorry, I just got disconnected. Then you've got professional skepticism and judgment. So what is this professional skepticism and judgment? Is basically to have a questioning attitude in the matters that comes to you, is to actually raise a question on the integrity of the information, the integrity of the details that is being made available to you, things like that. So that is actually going to be the impact of this professional skepticism. So it's to demonstrate the capability of having the professional skepticism to actually judge the situation, to understand the scenario, and identify the areas of questions in that. Lastly, the commercial acumen. Now, Basically, having a commercial acumen is that to know that what decisions could be beneficial commercial. Obviously, you got to keep in mind the ethical aspects, but you got to make sure that what elements are beneficial commercially. That is, what is it that is actually not gonna cause you a loss? What is it that's not gonna cause you a loss? That's actually to have the commercial acumen. So basically, having a sense that what could have an adverse implications onto the client, what could have an adverse implications onto the audit firm, how the audit firm should react in a given scenario, because after all, you are a commercial organization. Obviously, we got to keep the ethical standards in mind, but we got to have the commercial acumen also. So that is also something that you would have to keep in mind. So basically what happens is that the commercial acumen is also something that you got to apply. Now, lastly, there is this employability and technology skills, which is nothing except that if you know how to use the CB platform, if you know how to use the spreadsheet package, if you know how to use the word processing document, you're good enough. You're good enough to actually earn these marks. That's it. You don't have to actually, it's nothing that the examiner is evaluating. It's just that he wants you to know these skills, and these skills are available only if you are able to use the spreadsheet, if you are able to use these packages. So now let's just try to understand things. Basically, the whole AAA paper, it's it's a level up from SBR. You got to have the good knowledge of SBR in order to be able to do the AAA. And I know that you as a student forget about SBR. You as a student do forget about the SBR over a period of time, because obviously you don't actually remember it well, right? So what have I actually done? I've actually, um, I've actually, I mean, like when you are gonna be getting enrolled with me, let me just give you a bit of a guidance that this is our website, the name of which is scriberacademy.com. If I could take this website onto the full screen, when you would look at AAA here, you'd find different courses. You got to go for this AAA English LR by Luqman Rafiq. That's the relevant course of me. Now, when you would have a look at this, you would see that there's an introduction chapter, there's an introduction and the demo, the audit overview, every single topic, the business tricks, the questions are there, the ROMM and the audit risk and the group audits, the audit procedures, the accounting standards and the audit procedures, the audit report and the going concern, the audit evidence exam questions, regulatory environment, so and so other assignments, and then there are these revisions and the current issues and so on and so on. So these are a few things that you would get. So basically, when you would be studying with me, you would actually be getting an proper accounting standard knowledge through the pre-recorded content that I'm going to provide you. So how does this all goes about? How does this all goes about? So the way we offer the course, it's online blended, which is a mixture of live and recorded. I bet the way we go about is that it's an online blended course, which is a mixture of live and recorded. Plus, in addition to this, what we do is that we have got a WhatsApp group, which is an active WhatsApp group that we have. Plus, we have got live classes which are being conducted on a weekly basis. Plus, there are assignments for you to submit. Then what actually happens is that you've got the live revision in the last month, before the exams are conducted. So that's also something that happens. So what we do is that we actually go about doing multiple things. So it's online blended, you add it to a WhatsApp group, live classes on a weekly basis are conducted where queries are being discussed as per the given agenda. Then you've got assignments which have to be submitted by you, which are actually going to be marked, and you'll get feedbacks on them. Plus, there are live revision classes which are conducted at the end of the session. So that's how things go about. So basically, guys, if I actually talk a bit further about this AAA course, so what I could actually say is that I could tell you that this is going to be one of those courses which you would inshallah love to attend. It's a comprehensive course. A lot of exam practice questions have been there just to actually help you, just to help actually assist you into preparing well. I am there to support you. I'm there to give you the support. So everything is actually going to be there. And plus you would get access to the recorded lectures. You'll be able to submit your assignments. You'll be part of the WhatsApp group. You'll be able to ask the queries. You'll be able to communicate with the other students who are also there in the WhatsApp group. So that's how things are actually going to operate. So in case if any one of you have got any questions, just do let me know, or else I'm going to conclude it here and we can take it up from there. So yeah, in case if anyone has got any question, let me know. Okay, yeah, any questions, any issues? Yeah, please, anyone having any questions, please? Okay, seems like everyone is okay and apparently there are no questions. So guys, thank you very much for attending the session. The recordings for this session would be made available to you people. Plus, in addition to this, you will also be added to a WhatsApp group. So so that our team is going to communicate with you. So that's something that's going to happen. So thank you very much for attending the session, and inshallah continue discussing with you. I will have the next class where I'm going to give you the planner for the session, that how do I actually go about doing delivering the course.